Hi there, traders. This is Brad Gilbert with the FX Market Insight for Friday, the 12th of Feb. All right, now a bit of a, well, not a bit of a strange one, but like US equity markets, okay, a bit of a risk-on profile there. Now, just be aware, and I keep saying this, once the macroeconomic data starts to impact, even if it's mildly impacting and there's less geopolitical news, the economic data will be the driving force. It will look like a risk-on setup or a risk-off profile in the equity markets. It will not trickle down through into the currencies. What you might have, and this is where we've come through a period of massive risk-on, risk-off sentiment swinging around all the time. It runs through the currencies. Now, it may look like it, like you may have a risk-on profile, the dollar block are all rallying and the dollar pair is coming off, but it might be like just a couple of pips here and there, nothing substantial, right? So don't get suckered into just thinking every day is a risk-on, risk-off sentiment and the direction's coming from the equity markets, because it just doesn't happen, especially when the macros come into play. So just looking at the various news, right, there's nothing really out, okay? The news of late is obviously all about Bitcoin, and it's up around, $50,000. Boney New York coming out, Boney Mellon coming out saying they're going to have a crypto team. Like, all the banks are doing this. They're trying to work out how they can make money out of it. Same with the fund managers. Now, obviously, Elon Musk has got things rolling, but he's just a profile. All the fund managers would have already been into this massively beforehand, and they are milking it. So that's the news, right? And that's just the sidekick to the real markets, right? The currencies just aren't really moving too far. Look at the dollar index here. It's just sitting pretty, just drifting sideways. You'd think it'd spike higher as it broke through resistance. It only had a mild little touch higher. Now we're sort of sitting here waiting to find out where direction comes from. You look at the major currency pairs, okay? So you'd think with the risk on day, they'd be higher. Well, you know what? I think they've gone as far as they want to at this point. With all the news factored in, last week's non-farm payrolls, this week's US CPI numbers, everything's fully factored in. If anything, oil looks like it's starting to roll over. So that's going to go this way. I think dollar CAD is one of the pairs to focus on. I think a move to the top side is extremely likely. Euro, I still like it down. It doesn't want to go up at this point unless we get some different news out of the US or Europe. Obviously, you can see the dollar index there just drifting sideways, and dollar Swiss just following that really closely. And dollar yen's found a bit of a home there around 104.70. So just drifting sideways. So right now, we don't have any clear direction, right? This is where, unfortunately, the US CPI numbers didn't give us enough to really get some, momentum shifting aggressively. And that's just disappointing. You can't change that. So don't start to fight it. If anything, keep looking forward down the track. Now, today we've got a bunch of data coming out of the UK, the GDP estimate, and their manufacturing output numbers. These are all numbers that generally do move sterling around. Right, so have a look through that. There's a big basket of numbers coming out. Keep an eye on it. That's where the action is going to be, and also keep an eye on the University of Michigan sentiment numbers as well out of the US. That's anything to do with consumer sentiment, business sentiment. I like the look of it because that's where momentum is coming from in the back of the economy. So today, sterling has got to be on your radar. Sterling crosses as well, and keep an eye on those University of Michigan sentiment numbers. We may get a bit of a lead in to what the dollar's going to do at the start of next week or even later today. All right, guys. And just to reiterate, if these things are working, macro data, the risk on profile will not dominate the currencies. It'll be the data that does, right? We're getting closer back to normal market conditions. So focus on that. Sterling, maybe dollar CAD, the two pairs I'll be keeping a close eye on over the next 24 hours. Cheers, guys. Bye.